Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I am doing a full solo playthrough of Bot Factory. If you're familiar with Kanban, maybe you actually watched my playthrough of Kanban on the channel, hint hint. This is going to seem very familiar because this game uses a lot of the same ideas and mechanisms from Kanban, only in a much lighter and quicker package. Now I went ahead and I did most of the setup. I've placed the 9 random tiles in the finance department. I shuffled up the big stack of projects and put out 6 at random. We also have the wild bot parts over here. In the production department here, I've shuffled up each of the 4 different colors of robots. And in a 1 to 2 player game, you put out 3 robot meeples of each color. In a 3 to 4 player game, you would use 4. Now there's one bit of setup I haven't done yet. It's the most confusing, so I thought I'd walk everyone through it. We need 2 random parts to put into this spare parts area over here. There's a few ways you could do it. I think the easiest is just to shuffle these up. Got a blue and a yellow. Now, since blue was the first one, we're going to put the priority marker on the blue stack. Now we're going to load up the production wheel, starting with the blue parts. Before you do, you want to make sure that the production wheel is in exactly this position, with these 2 locations in this orientation. Then you're going to start in this top left corner and just work around clockwise. There we go, just like that. Yes, your boss Sandra from Kanban is back, and it's actually her. She's been hired from the car plant to the bot factory as a consultant. And yes, so these 2 games exist in the same cinematic universe. Now we're going to place Sandra in this position here, and when you're playing a solo game, you have to get out the factory inspector. You're going to put him right there. You're then going to get these 3 different sets of tiles and shuffle them. In addition, you randomly take one of these objective tiles. Our objective for this game is going to be to get 3 of these tiles in the finance department by the end of the game. And there you go, we're all set up and ready to go. Don't worry if you don't know how to play, because as always, I'm going to teach the game as we go, so let's dive right in. Bot Factory is a worker placement game in which we have 1 worker. There are 4 different departments in the factory. 1 board for each department. Over here in the assembly department, we have these 3 worker placement spots that we can go to. Here in production, we have these 3 spots. In the project department, there's only 2 spots. And over here in finance, there are 3. And each of the spots gives you a slightly different action. Now, before we start anything, we get to take a random tile, a random project tile. We got a project tile for a blue robot. We then get to select a part of our choice from these stacks. And I'll just go ahead and take a blue head. Each robot has 3 different parts: a head, a body, and some feet. And obviously, to make a robot, we're going to need all 3. Now that we've done that, we get to place our worker wherever we want. Obviously, we can't go somewhere where the factory inspector is or Sandra. In fact, we cannot go into the department where Sandra is. So at the beginning of the game, we cannot go here. I say let's start off immediately by coming to this spot right here. And these 2 start in this spot. Now we're going to resolve actions from left to right. And since we are furthest to the left, we get to take our actions first. Now on this spot, we're going to get 1 to 6 action points, production actions, let's say. You can see here on this middle spot, we'd only get 1 to 4. And on the leftmost spot, we'd only get 1 to 3, but that would give us an extra speech token. But I feel like I want to take a bunch of actions. Now there's 2 different main actions I can do here. I can take apart either this part here or this part here, and that will cost an action. Or I can spin the wheel in a clockwise direction. And we can track our actions that we take right here using that cube. So first things first, I want to take this part. And that will cost 1 action. We can hold up to 5 parts in our hand. And something special happens when you take an action on this location, or also on this one over there. It shows that you can spend a speech token in order to place a part onto the assembly line. And so I think I'll definitely do that. I'm going to spend my 1 speech token, and I am going to place this part right here. The top location is for the head, the middle is for the body, the lower one's for the legs. And so I've now constructed 1 bit of that blue robot. And over here it shows when you put your first piece of a robot down, you actually get 2 speech tokens. When you place the second part of a robot, you also get 2 speech tokens. And then when you complete the robot, you'll get to take the meeple, so long as you have a blueprint for it. Okay, there we go. That was just 1 action. For my second action here, I'm going to spin the wheel. And these wheels are divided sort of up into quadrants. So you just spin all the way so you have a new quadrant down here. I think for my third action, I'm going to take this yellow part. Fourth action will be to spin the wheel again. Now you can see an empty section has appeared up here. When that happens, we can immediately refill it with a part of our choice. And I want to put down a blue part. Okay, now what do we want to do here? We have 2 more actions. I think we want to actually spin the wheel again. For our 5th action, we have another spot opened up. We're going to do another blue. And then for our last action, we'll just take this part right there. And there we go. We finished all of our actions. We lay our meeple down to show that we're done. Now there is an anytime action that we can take here, an executive action, which is shown right up here. We could discard any 3 parts from our supply in order to take a part from the top of one of the stacks. Definitely don't want to do that, so we're done. So now we're going to keep moving on, and at the first round, the factory inspector and Sandra aren't going to do anything. They're just going to lay down. They're done. In the following rounds, they're going to do something, so just stay tuned. Now, once everyone has finished all of their work, we then go to a maintenance phase. If one of the robots had been completed, something would happen, but that hasn't happened yet. And so the only maintenance we need to do is take these bottom 2 projects, discard them, slide everything down, and then refill. And there we go. That was round 1. And now we get to do that lovely Kanban thing where we now go back to the left-hand side and our workers are going to wake up and move to a different worker placement location in this turn order. So because we're furthest to the left, we get to wake up first, and now we have to move to a different department. We cannot stay in this department. So we cannot go here or stay where we are. And in a 1 and 2 player game, there's a further restriction where you cannot go to the same location as Sandra. So we can't go there. So we only have these 2 departments to choose from. I think I will go to this department here. We have 2 locations. This first location would only let us take 1 project, but we'd get to take it first. And so if there's a project that we really want, this would be a good place to go. I think we can go to the second spot, and that's going to let us take 2 projects. Now, we don't get to take the action yet. That's the idea. We keep going, and now it looks like the factory inspector is next. So to decide where the factory inspector is going to go, we're going to use these tiles right here. So you flip this one over to show the location that they're going to go, and then you flip the second one over to show what kind of bot they're most interested in. This tile is showing location number 1, which is the assembly. And they're always going to take the leftmost spot. And now we go to Sandra. She wakes up, and she is always just going to go to the next department, and is also going to take the leftmost action space. Okay, there. After everyone has moved, we now go back to the left-hand side and resolve the actions. The factory inspector is going to look at the bot of their choice, in this case, the green bot. And they're going to look to see if there are 2 parts that have been sort of started for that robot. If there were 2 parts, exactly 2 parts, they would remove those 2 parts, and that would be the end of their turn. Since there aren't 2 parts here, instead, they're just going to remove one of the robots. Keep in mind that one of the ways the game can end is when all robots of one color have been created. And there you go. That's all that they do here. It's really simple. Next, Sandra gets to go, and her action is shown right here. It's also very simple. She's just going to remove these 2 spare parts. We can put them in a little discard pile over there. And then she's going to refill them. And the way you do that is you look to see what the priority part is based on where that pink marker is. She's going to select that one first. And then we move the marker. And then she's going to do it again. Select, and then move it. Just wraps back around like that. And there you go. That's it. They're done. Now it comes to us, and we can take 2 of these projects. Well, I think I'm going to take another blue project from this spot. And you can see there when I do, I'll get another speech token. And I've been collecting yellow robot parts, so why don't we take a yellow contract? We are also limited to 5 projects as well. Now, actually, I have a slightly different idea that I just came up with. I'm going to put that back, and I'm going to instead take this project right there. Now, when I take that one, I can do this action, which is the same one as over here. You can spend a speech to place one of your parts. I'm going to place this one right here. When you place the second part, you get 2 more speech tokens, and there's an additional action printed on there. That means that I can spend another speech in order to take one of the parts on top. And I'm going to take that one. That worked out great because now I have the legs that I need to complete the blue robot. I then think I'm going to do the executive action of this location, which is right there. It shows that you can discard any 2 projects in order to take one of these wild parts. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard these 2. And I'm going to take this wild body part. That's the one part that I'm missing from the yellow robot. So I think that's going to come in handy. Okay, there we go. I'm completely done. We get to the end, we do maintenance. No robot has been completed. So we would remove these bottom ones, but they're already gone. So we just shift down. Refill. And there you go. That's the maintenance phase. Okay, time for the 3rd round. Factory inspector. You just flip the next tile. Oh, I was afraid of that. Oh, no. So the factory inspector is going to the finance department. That was the one place I was hoping he wasn't going to go. Sandra stands up, heads over to the next department, and now we have to decide where we're going to go. We can't go here. We could go over to assembly and just finish the blue robot, and that might be our best bet. Yeah, I think so. So we'll come over here. Now, if we come to this spot, we only get to do 1 action, which is technically all we need. If we come here, we can do up to 2. And if we go to the furthest right, we can do up to 3, but that's going to cost us one of our speech tokens. I don't think I want to spend a speech token, to be honest. So let's go to this middle spot. And now we resolve again from left to right, so we get to go first. Let's finish this blue robot. So we're going to put that there. We can spend a speech token in order to grab one of those tiles. I actually don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to save my speech token. But when you put the 3rd part down, you get to take one of the meeples and you place it onto your project. You can only place that third part down if you have a project for that particular type of robot. At the end of the game, each of these robots that we build are going to be worth points based on where the marker is on that track. At the moment, each robot is worth 6 points, but those can increase and decrease depending on certain things you'll see in a second. Now that was just one action. I think for my second action, I'm going to go ahead and place the head of the yellow robot. And again, that's going to get me 2 speech tokens. All right. Now I should mention the executive action that you can take in the assembly department is shown right here. You can spend a speech token in order to exchange one of the tiles in your hand with one of these spare tiles here. Okay, on to Sandra. The action she takes in production is very simple. She's just going to refill the wheel. She's going to start in the upper left and go around clockwise. So just like before, you take the priority part, and then you move the marker. Simple. Now the factory worker. In finance, the factory worker does 2 things. One, you look at their priority robot, in this case blue, and they're going to lower the value of that robot. Which is kind of a shame since we just built a blue robot, but what are you going to do? We then reveal one of these tiles. Oh, and that's a shame. This factory inspector is a real pain. You can see here there are 3 black squares that correspond to the squares out there. We got to pick 2 of those to remove. And unfortunately, 2 of them are tiles that I did want to create. So that is going to make things hard. I think we're going to have to remove these bottom 2. And save that one. So these are out of the game. Okay, we now go to maintenance, and a robot has been completed. So what you do is you take these parts and discard them. And then you would lower the value of that robot. In this case, the blue robot is as low as it can go, and so we don't do anything. There we go. The project cycle, and we're back here at the beginning. Now that is a shame what just happened over there in the finance department. Once again, we can't come here, and we have to leave this department, so we have these 2 to choose from. It might make a little sense to come here, but I think I want to come over here. Sandra's going to go right there, and the inspector is coming here. And then they're going to get to act first. Now in production, they just remove tiles of this robot type, in this case yellow, and there are none, so they do nothing. Sandra just cycles the project, so that's going to go away. And now it's our turn. We're going to get 1 to 4 actions here. In this spot, you get 1 to 2, 1 to 3, or 1 to 4. Here in finance, we get to spend our speech tokens in order to claim some of these finance tiles. These will give us in-game points if we can meet the condition. And then we can also spend speech to increase the value of certain types of robots. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to claim that contract there for producing 1 blue robot, which we've already accomplished. And you can see here, it's going to cost 2 speech to do that. So we spend 1, and then we actually place one of these on the tile. At the end of the game, that's going to give us the 2 points that we covered up, plus the 5 points that are right over there. I then think I want to spend 1 to claim this project as well. So that means before the end of the game, we're going to need to create a green robot. If for some reason we were unable to do that, we would actually lose the points that are on this tile, in this case 2. And actually, you know, I've reconsidered. Rather than doing that one, I'm actually going to spend 3 speech tokens, and I'm going to take this one right here. We're already in position to build a yellow robot. We're going to try to build 2. These are going to get discarded. Now remember, my goal for the end of the game is to complete 3 of these. If I'm unable to do that by the end of the game, I instantly lose. Okay, there we go. I only ended up taking 2 actions there, but I think it was good to claim those. We go to maintenance. And there we go. Going to 3. Sandra's coming here. Now, Sandra can go into the location where we are. We just can't go to where she is. And if we were to end up in the same room as Sandra when we want to take our action, we would have to spend a speech token in order to do so. If we couldn't spend the speech token, we would just lay down and not do any actions that round. So now we have 3 places to choose from. Now we can't come here and finish the yellow robot because we don't have a project tile for the yellow robot. So we could come here and get one, but we'd only get to take 1 tile. That seems like a bit of a waste. So I say let's come here and we can collect some more parts. We know we want to build another yellow robot, and we have a lot of green here. We also have a red. I feel like we could collect parts for a green robot, and that would be pretty good. So why don't we set out to do that? 1. Then 2 to take that. 3. Yeah, 4. We can fill that in. 5. Let's just turn this for 6. There's our 6 actions. In this location, the inspector simply removes projects for that particular bot type, in this case, red. And remember, you don't refill this instantly. You only do it in the maintenance phase. And Sandra here, what she does is increase the value of all of the lowest valued robots, unless they're all the same, and then she does nothing. In this case, blue is the lowest, so she's going to increase it by 1. There we go. Maintenance phase. So you can see just how quick and easy it is to manage everything. So here we go. You can see how this worker placement thing, how it works and how it can create some problems. I have to move first. So I'm not going to be able to get into that spot there to get 2 projects like I would like. I can't go to finance, and if I were to come here, I wouldn't be able to complete any robots because I need the projects. So I'm kind of forced to go there, it would seem. Now, when these piles run out, you just shuffle them up. And reveal. Oh, okay. It's taking a yellow robot away. That's unfortunate. And Sandra comes over here. So the inspector looks at the yellow robots, checks to see if there are 2 parts. There's only 1, so instead they're going to remove a robot. And then Sandra... Okay, we're going to take our 1 project and, well, we got yellow right here. So do we want, yeah, I guess because we can't do that because we don't have a speech token. So we'll take this one. That will give us a speech token. Now keep in mind, the limit of having 5 of these projects includes the ones you've completed. So as you complete these, your options become fewer and fewer. Well, honestly, that's all we can do on our turn here, so we're done. That was not the greatest turn, but... Ooh, okay. Come in here, that's fine. Go in there. Now we can finish our yellow robot and start on the green, I suppose. I think so. The only other thing we could think about doing is just coming over here just to secure that green project. Because if the inspector comes over here and takes that, then we'd have to do 2 green. And so that might be the safe thing to do. Okay. I'm going to do it. A bit of a waste, but better to be safe, I think. Okay. Inspector, taking away the blue parts. And then Sandra is going to replace them immediately. So again, we start here, we go clockwise. And then here, we are just going to take our speech and go right there. Cool, and now we know exactly what we need to do. We need to create 1 green robot and 2 yellow. And if we do that, then we've completed all of that, which means we've completed this, which means we won't instantly lose the game. We'll get to add up our points and see how we did. Well, these two are hanging out together. That's fine. I think we're probably ready to build. And we can go to this 2 spot. We can't go there because we don't have a speech token. We get to go first. So let's go ahead and put that there. We can do these in any order. So that's going to give us 2 speech tokens because it was the second part. And then for our second action, we'll use this wild body in the middle. That's going to let us grab one of these parts. Unfortunately, we don't have the part that we want. That is a shame. Still seems worthwhile to do that. So we'll spend 1 and get that. And we get our yellow robot. Awesome. So we still need to produce a yellow and a green. And in fact, we're going to have to produce the green first, then the yellow, because there's only 1 more yellow out there. And when that's gone, the game ends. Okay, that's our action done. Spectre just takes the green robots. Sandra clears the bottom. And now we have to refill. So we got to shuffle up the discards and create another draw pile. And the wild always goes back. Those get discarded, and the yellow loses its value. I think we definitely want to jump into here. Spectre is going into finance, as is Sandra. Okay, we got 6 actions. 1 action. Spin. Second action. Get the green head. We have a complete green robot here. That is fantastic. Third action, I'm going to take this part. Not because I want it necessarily, but I want to take this action. That's going to give us 2. Fourth action. Fifth action. We get to fill our choice. And then 6th action. Boom. Gonna take that. We get to do this again, and I want to. We'll put this yellow here and get 2. Now, there's a few reasons I want to do that. By having 2 parts here, we're protecting against the factory inspector coming over here and taking away that last yellow robot. Again, the game ends when that happens. And so I want to protect that. That needs to stay there. We'll collect our green, and then we'll worry about the yellow. Inspector... lowering the red robot. We don't care about that. And we have protected ourselves, and it's a good thing that we did. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. We have to remove 2 if at all possible, but we can't remove the ones where we have our speech tokens on. So we've protected those from being removed, which means it's going to be that one and that one. That's why I jumped in there early to try to get those secured so he wouldn't take them away. And now Sandra comes here. She's going to increase all the lowest robots. So we're right back where we started. The only thing that could really foul us up at this point As if the inspector came over here and then took away one of the green robots. That would be annoying, although I think we could find our way around it. And what am I saying? We don't have a green project, so we can't even complete the green robot. We have to go to the projects first. Yep. Okay. We're going to go to the projects, and we're going to hope. The inspector could definitely mess us up here. Okay, good. We don't mind that at all. Okay, removing those. Taking the green parts. Just that one. And we can take 2 projects. We need a green and a yellow, and I say we just take them. There we go. Sandra's coming here. Okay, don't mind this either. Going to finance. We don't care about that. Let's... Ooh. Okay, I have an idea. We're going to come here. No, we're going to go there. Actually, we're safe. Because we know that he's already looked at green and yellow robots, we know that he's not going to come here and take a green or a yellow. So we are actually safe to go ahead and complete the green robot. So let's do that. We'll spend a speech token. We get 3 actions. Head, 2 speech tokens. Feet, 2 speech tokens, which is now all of our speech tokens. And then body, and we will use that action, spend a speech to grab that, the last piece that we need. Beautiful. Okay, Sandra's just going to fill this in. He is going to reduce yellow and then remove these 2, only ones he can. Oh, and this gets cleared. Green goes down. Okay. Robots aren't very valuable. Now we have to move away from this spot. Let's move over here. Might as well go there. Sandra's coming here. Yes. And it's going to be blue robot. And now we have a chance to increase the value of our robots. Now we're going to have 2 yellow. We have 4 actions, and each one of these increases costs a speech token. So let's do 4, might as well. Oh yeah, and we can do this right now. We can finish this off right now. Well, it's in our best interest to move yellow up 4 times because we're going to have 2 of those. 2, and we cross that line, which lets us take a project. We're going to take this project, this red project. That'd be the last one that we can hold. Ooh, if we were greedy, we could try to get a red robot done and then do a yellow one. Oh, we get a speech token for taking that. Ooh, are we that greedy? That'll be 3. And then when we cross that next line, we can actually place out a part onto the assembly line. So we could complete this yellow robot right now in the game and get points. Or we could put this out. Stop off here, get the parts we need for a red robot, and try to make that happen. It's uber greedy, but that would be extra points. Oh, are we going to do it? You know what? Let's do it. There's a small possibility this blows up in my face, but I think it's fine. So I'm going to place, using that power there, I'm going to place this right there. That's going to give us 2 speech tokens, and I can spend one to grab this. And then I have one more movement up there. Boom. So now yellow robots will be worth 12. We know where he's going. Right there. Sandra's coming here. And we can actually come here now. This worked out beautifully. It's going to cost us 1 speech to do this. We have 3 actions. First action. Boom, up here. 2 speech. We can spend a speech to take the body that we need. That worked out so nicely. Number 2, boom. We get the robot, and then number 3, boom. We get that robot, and there you go. We have built the maximum number of robots we can. That is also a way that the game can end, as if you've completed 5 robots. So we actually ended the game in both ways. Now, you do complete the round completely, but it really doesn't matter. And she's going to increase the green. There we go. And you do a maintenance phase. That's the other thing. So we are going to clear off both of those, and the yellow and the red are going to go down. So that did cost us some points. And there we go. That's the end of the game. Now we check to see if we've completed our little goal here. Our solo goal was to complete 3 of these. We have a green robot, we have a blue robot, and we have 2 yellow. So we completed 3 of those. We don't instantly lose the game. We actually get to add up our points. And that's very easy to do. We're going to check up here to see what each of our robots is worth. So you can see our yellows are worth 10 each. So that's 20. Red's worth 5. And blue and green are worth 6 each. So that's going to be 37. We then add up these points here. So we get the points that are on the tile. We were on the 2 spot there. So that's 2 more points plus the points over here. 2, so that's 4. So we're now at 41. 43. 48. 55 plus 7. 62. Now we actually gain a victory point for each pair of speech tokens that we have. So that's an extra point. So we're now at 63 points. If we had failed to meet any of these contracts, we would actually lose the points that are on the contract, but not points off to the side. But we completed all of our contracts, so we're good. Also, for any incomplete project that we had, we would lose 2 points. But luckily, we finished all of our projects. And you'd also lose a point for each extra part tile that you had in your supply. But we used up all of our parts, so we didn't lose any points, and we finished the game with a total of 63 points. We then look to the back of the rulebook, and it shows right here, anything over 50 is an exemplary performance. Expect an invitation to become a partner. So there you go, everyone. That's a complete game of Bot Factory. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.